Okay, so yeah, we are live now. Yes, we are live now. Good evening and welcome to the show,
Hi,
Mr.
Tina. Thank
Victor
you.
Richard. How are you, sir,
I'm
today?
fine. Fine.
We're
Thank you
gonna
for inviting me onto your program. And hello to everybody out there who's listening online at this moment. To my
Okay, wow. Thank you so much for joining me tonight to this wonderful edition of one-to-one exclusive interview with my special guest. I've known him for a while now, and it's really nice to come back again to do this interview with him. And I know that we're all going to learn a lot of, we're going to get a lot of information today that will help us, to just, enjoy what he has. He has a lot to offer us, and I know that we're going to be blessed. So I want to welcome all my viewers out there, those that are watching right now, and those that will be watching later on as well. I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight. My name is Tina Oli. I'm the presenter of this show. So I just want to thank everyone for watching, and we're going to just have a good time. So tonight, I am going to be introducing my special guest by the name Victor Richard, aka Streets Paved with Gold. I know people will be wondering, wow, what a name. Okay, so welcome everyone. So, but before we get started, for me to introduce him to the show, I am going to just take a little break. When I come back, I will now officially introduce him to all my guests out there, those that are watching tonight and those that will be watching later on as well. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, everyone, wherever you're joining from. Give this video a thumbs up, like it, share it, because we're here to bless you. So let's get started. Now, I want to welcome my guest one more time, Victor Richards, aka Street Paved with Gold. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce him to everyone that will be watching this program whenever you have the time to watch this program. So I'm going to be reading his bio for you. He has a long biography, but I'm going to just read a short one for you today. So if you want to get the longer version, you can contact him to get more information. Okay, so let's go. Let's introduce him. Okay, so Mr. Victor Richard, the London-born Leicester-bred son of Barbadian parents who came to Britain in the 1950s. He's an actor, writer, poet, and storyteller. Victor Richard has been perfectly positioned throughout his life to observe and commentate on the trials and tribulations, joys and sorrows of British West Indian culture for 7 decades. His first one, Man Windrush Production Streets Paved with Gold, is a successful long-running theater play, and 2021 marked the 25th anniversary of touring in the UK and internationally. Gambia, Caribbean, Japan, Europe. Victor has received recommendation for his work such as BEFFTA Legend Award in 2018, British Urban Film Festival 2017, nominee Windrush Achievement Award 1998, finalist. And like I said, the biography is quite long, but we're just giving you this short version. So, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, kindly help me to welcome my special guest today, Mr. Victor Richard, to the shows. God
Oh,
bless you. Welcome, my brother.
Tina,
Welcome.
you. I'm humbled. I'm humbled. Thank you much for your very warm
Oh,
introduction.
it's nice to have you, honestly. It's so nice
Greetings
to have you.
to everybody who's listening or will be watching it later. I'm looking forward to this. I'm excited myself. Thank you.
Yes, me too. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I remember
So,
the last time we met was in Kent, wasn't it? At one
yes,
show
yes,
that I did with the wonderful good friend of mine, Gary, who organized the event in Kent at the I can't remember the name
yes,
of you.
yes, yes. The last time we met was in Kent. You came, was it about 4 or 5 years ago?
Yes, something like that. Yes, yes.
Right. We really had a nice time. But I think I must confess, the first time you came to Kent that you did the street paved with gold, I did not quite understand.
Uh,
It's now that I'm reading about it more
get it?
that it's
Yeah.
making more sense to me.
A lot of
And I
people are the
believe it's the same thing that our viewers today, they will definitely get more understanding about what
same.
is this
Yes,
street
yes,
pay will go. What is this that this man is doing? He's been touring for the past 25 years. What exactly? It was when I was reading it that I realized that, oh my God, there is so much that we need to learn. And I'm
yes.
so happy that you're here tonight to share with us, to
Thank
just, express,
you.
to people, let them know what you're doing. So the first question we're going to look into, because I've just kind of said, okay, let's just touch on a few points because I know there's a lot, even if they give us like a whole day, we will
Mm,
not be able to cover all the questions. So we're just going to take a few questions so that people can get a bit more understanding.
mm.
Okay. So the first question I'm going to be asking you, Mr. Richard, is I just want to know, okay, first of all, how did you start with this name? What brought, what gave you how did you come about this name, Street Paved with Gold? What do we need to know about it?
It's a
What is,
very good start. I think I have to start from when I was a child growing up,
hmm,
with my mom and her friends and family that used to come round the house on a Sunday afternoon, to have dinner,
hmm,
because everybody's socially more socialized then, particularly on a Sunday.
yeah,
And they had dinner, music was playing, they either played
yeah,
dominoes or cards. And during that process, as a young child growing up, I was listening to them joking and laughing about when they first come to this country, when they were in the Caribbean, when they first come to this country, their
yeah,
jobs, their experiences, and each one would be telling different stories at different time, past and present. And a lot
yeah,
of this was done in a joke format. At some point of the conversation, and this happened for a long time, I noted somebody would mention the word streets paved with gold in reference to a job, in reference to an experience they had, either looking for a room or some racial experiences that they had. Not necessarily always something bad happened. Sometimes it was something good. I do particularly remember some three guys were having a conversation. They had a little bit to drink, and I
yes,
noted, and they were remarking of some years back. They went out for a drink, and on the way back home, in the old days, they had lamp. The lamppost was yellow, They're different now, but they were yellow. And when it rains, they had puddles on the road, and the
Okay.
light shine on the puddles, and it looked like liquid gold, if you like. And they said something like, "This is what we came. This is the streets that were paved with gold." So always the running commentary joke was people were disappointed thinking that
Yeah.
the streets was paved with gold. So this is what I grew up with as a child. Now, so I have answered your question.
Yeah, that's yeah,
Yeah,
you have. So you got your inspiration from, hearing your parents, talk and with
yeah,
other people that came from the West Indies,
yeah,
how their experiences of,
yeah,
what they've been through here,
yes,
that it's not easy, when, you have, obviously different country to
that's right,
here.
that's right.
It's not easy.
Yeah,
So, and it's so intriguing that you were such a child that you really wanted to know. That was why you kind of listened, isn't it? I
definitely,
mean, you're
definitely.
not the only child, you're not the only person that has parents from West Indies that came to settle here. But
That's
for
right.
you to have been so curious and you wanted to know, and you are the one kind of, heading the whole, bringing the whole story to life. It's amazing.
Yes,
It
yes,
is really amazing. That's why I'm saying to you that I am just getting clarity
yeah.
of this journey
Mm.
as I was reading through again, because the first time I didn't quite understand what
Okay.
it meant or what you were talking about. Really, I
Yeah.
know you were, telling us about stories, but I didn't quite get it. And
Mm.
now that I got it, I'm so happy that I know that I
Yes.
can say, yes, oh my God, is this what he's been talking about for like 25 years? And I only just got it this time.
So,
Thank
so
you.
as a child, obviously that was the inspiration for me. I say the inspiration came from that experience growing up,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
led me to want to use that name, Streets Paved with Gold, as a title
Right.
in the play, because I knew that if I used it as a title, a lot of people would identify it with.
Exactly.
So 25 years ago, it was one of the great ideas. Not just identify with it, but I also knew it had lineage, meaning that it
Yeah.
would stand the test of time.
Yes.
I think I got that right.
Amen. That is so wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So another thing I was going to ask was, okay, now, yeah, we know you're connected with that name, you're using that name. People already know now. It kind of bring back memory to people that, what, this was what people were going through during the time that they came here, and they didn't want that legacy to be lost. So thank
Mm.
you for upholding and carrying it along and making sure that it stays. It did not die, just by the wayside. So I wanted to say, okay, what prompted you into following that dream as you progress into your vision and passion? What prompted you to go into, obviously, I know you said you wanted to preserve that name. Okay. I know preservation is one thing, but what more vision, what more passion did you have that made you that, what, I'm going to really, work on this thing, and I know that it's going to bless lives? What time did you come to that realization as you growing up?
Um, to develop the ideas creatively, I knew that. Well, I first of all experimented it with it was being a fashion model at the time,
Okay.
um, and at some point during my 15-year career as a fashion and commercial model and a choreographer, I hit on the idea of a show called Fashion Through the Ages. And then that led me to going to drama college. You probably ask me these questions a bit later on, but I'll just touch on them to give you an
Yeah.
idea now. And then going to drama college, I knew to get that experience how to transfer this fashion show, which is looking at our parents' clothes, the
Yeah.
music, the way they danced, the 50s, 70s, 80s, and then to transfer that into a play, then into poetry, the book, and now the film. So for me, there is a lot of processing in
Yeah.
understanding the legacy and realizing, I suppose I'll just finish it by saying, I knew that I couldn't just do it in poetry or drama because not everybody listens to drama, and not everybody listens to spoken word or music.
Right.
Not everybody reads books or
Yeah.
talking books or listen to
Right.
talking books. So and not a lot of people are into educational things. So I
Yeah.
realized, which is what I was advised to while I was at drama college, to channel into education. So this gave me a platform in which to build up and develop all these things.
Okay, great. Wow, that is so. What you're saying now is that you needed the experience you got from modeling, fashion, everything came together
Yeah,
to
yeah,
form what you are today, what you're actually doing today.
yes, yes,
Wow, that is so
yes.
awesome. So, yes, I know that you were into modeling, you're a poet, you're a writer, you're a storyteller. And I know that you attended a college where you kind of developed your skills more. And that was at Sandfield College
Sandhurst College in Nottingham.
in
Yeah.
Nottingham. So tell us a little bit more about your experience at this college. How did this college, transformed your life through all your different, areas of acting, poet, different all the different areas that you're supposed to develop. How did this college help you to get to that level?
So, as I said, by the time I finished the modeling, the choreography, the show, and then
Yeah.
15 years later, ended up at Sandfields College at 1994 to
Okay.
96.
Right.
Um, um, I I still had the idea that one day I could transfer this fashion show into a play, but I didn't know how
Okay.
to. So
Yeah.
I think Sandfield College was a game changer for me. It did something which even today, when I think about it, when I hear the name Sandfields College, it resonates with me. Or, it almost wants to bring tears to my eye. The people at the college, the tutors, were were wonderful. Do you know when you're in the right place at the right time? And I'm
Yes.
going to try and keep this very brief and short because it's a lot to pack into here. The timing was right. The tutors came from RADA. The course was an experiment by the Nottingham County Council to give unemployed people like me an opportunity to go to drama college. So that was
Mm.
about it. And the other thing that they did was, which was an experiment, they deliberately make sure that the people going onto these courses were not just people who were working or unemployed, but they made sure that they selected people from different backgrounds and
Okay.
different ethnicities to get that mixture. So
Yeah.
so this was also unusual, and also the course base was different to other acting courses. They took on European ideas and concepts. So by the end of the course, what they wanted in the last year, for example, is to they wanted actors and actresses to create a project to to do something different.
Okay.
My idea, I realized that was an opportunity to ask them, can I do a one-man play? And they asked me to explain. I had to go in front of a board of committee, and they said yes. I explained the concept of the play at the time, not
Yes.
thinking that they was going to agree. And they said it's a wonderful idea under one condition, that you bolt on an educational package. This is important for your personal development. What we all had to do is to do one main performance in the college. The other three, you had to go out into the community and do it in a school, in a pub, or in a library, and they gave you a little bit of a funds to do it. They gave us £50 at the time.
Wow.
So you can understand this opportunity that I had, a golden opportunity, and I used
Yes.
that £50 to develop the set, to buy all the props for the set. So the
Wow.
course for me was groundbreaking, in every sense of the word. So by the time I left the college, the play was already set,
Excuse me.
and had its structure, and I knew
Yes.
where I was going, what I was doing, and all of these people around me. I must also add, finally, that a lot of the tutors I remained friends with after I left. And one particular person, Ava Hunt, she's still a close friend of me, of mine's, and she's been helping and supporting me all this time, particularly to further develop the work that I was doing with the plays, Return to the Caribbean, True to the First, all these different productions that I was doing. So it was a very wonderful experience for me. But I must also finally say, and you're gonna hear me say this throughout your program. Yes, it's wonderful to be here talking to you and sharing, not just you, but anybody who's listening to this. But
Yeah.
I always remember the experiences that I had. It's not just me. I could never have done it, not without the help of the people internal,
Yes.
but also the people outside. There was always people around my life on my
Right.
25-year journey who encouraged me, who supported me, who advised me, who helped me in all sorts of different ways. You can't do something like this, Tina, on your own.
No.
So I give thanks and praise, and I thank so much for all those people who are helping me then and are helping me now.
No. Amen. Wow, that is so
Yes,
wonderful. We
yes,
must give a clap
yes.
offering to
Oh yes,
Sandfield College
oh yes. Sandhill College,
for the
Jeff
opportunity.
Bullen, David Johnson, so many wonderful people who I remember.
Yes.
So it's a very special time. I hope I've given some.
Yes, you have. You have really given enough. So, what we're gonna do now, because you've talked about that, I will want our viewers as well to enjoy a little clip of your voice, what
Oh,
you've recorded, for them to just have a little, you know, tape taste of what some of the the videos you've done, the movies you've done, and everything. We've got a few lines up for our people today. So the first one I'm going to play for us, I'm going to play the one that says, I think it's Streets Paved with Gold, spoken words. So I'm
okay.
going to put that one for them, for us all to enjoy. Even back here, I will be enjoying it as well. So let's take a quick short break and then we'll be right back.
They said, listen to the streets that was paved with gold. They said it's a story that's never been told. Dreamt of the high, the touch, the low. It's given them a passion for time. But within their hearts they felt their souls in the streets that was paved with gold. The winter's here, the face is there. Create the feeling of despair. The labor shortage after the Second World War led to the 1948 British Nationality Act being passed, which all persons born in the Commonwealth countries and British colonies became British citizens and therefore had the right to enter, live and work in Britain along with their families. Looking for rental accommodation was just as difficult as finding a job. I had to walk from street to street looking. It was hard walking in those shoes, especially when you read such signs saying no Irish, no dogs, no blacks. Made me wonder what kind of country I come to. Man, I tell you one morning, I put on 3 pairs of socks, 3 pairs of underpants, my long johns, all of my jumpers and my overcoat and my chilby hats. Visited 10 rooms that morning, one I remembered very well. had to climb 5 flights of stairs. And when I reached the top, there was no carpet. The window was cracked. It was damp all over. The single bed was therapeutic monster smelled bad. The owner said to me it was his best room. Take it or leave it. I took one leg and headed back down the stairs. They said, listen to the streets that was paved with gold. They said it's a story that's never been told. Dreamt of the high that touched the low, it's given them a passion for time. But within their hearts they felt their souls in the streets that was paved with gold. The winter's here, the faces there, create the feeling of despair.
Wow.
Wow.
Just let me add something to that. That
That was wonderful. Did I play the right one?
Yes,
Though?
you did. Yes, you did.
Okay, I
That's
thought
a
I
track.
mixed them up.
That's a
Okay.
track from the spoken word album,
Yeah.
which is also called Streets Paved with Gold. It was nominated for the British Urban Film Festival in 2017, and I must also say I was inspired to create this wonderful album by Linton Kwesi Johnson. I just seen his concert on YouTube one day. One of his last concerts he did in, I think it was France. He had 15,000 people and a live band. And I just said, wow, I have to hear this. But I heard about his music before. So yes, like I said, you can't do these things. We're always standing on somebody's shoulders for inspiration and ideas. So thank you for sharing that. I hope they enjoyed that.
Yes, definitely people out there, they will enjoy it. Those that are watching and those that will be watching later on. So we'll just carry on with more of the interview, just to get more words out there for people to just listen to and be blessed. So we're gonna carry on. I know you wrote so many books already, and there's one particular one that is titled to Poetry Trilogy, published in 2008. Okay, why was it written in the 60s? Like I said, oh, you got it there as well.
Poetry trilogy. I've only written one book, by the way.
Is it what was it just one? But it
one
sounds it looks as if, but you have more movies. I mean, like movies.
Yeah, music videos and various other stuff, but only one book. Yes, the poetry trilogy was inspired from the play.
Okay.
And as I said earlier, I realized people, not everybody wants to go to theatre.
To read.
Some
Yeah.
people like to read. And one of the things I realized having a mobile theatre company, because everything fit into the boot of the car. So I was able to travel anywhere, not just to different cities, but I designed everything so that it can get on the plane. So I broke it down to its finest denominator. So the book was very much part of the whole package to do with poetry and
Okay.
spoken word. So for me, it was very much inspired by the play. As I said, it opened up other opportunities for me to go to book fairs.
Yes.
And the thing is, when you open up these channels to connect and network, if I hadn't have done this book, I don't think I would have met Melanie Shabazz, a wonderful black film director who passed away a year ago now. Because 15 years or so ago, when I met him at the Arsenal Football Ground Black Book Fair at the time, we became friends. And as a result of that, it's because of him who's introduced me to my director for my film, Solomon Garcia. So you see, I realized to be an artist, you really have to be active, moving around and connecting with people, because doors shut and doors open. And this is one of the things about having a mobile theatre company, as I had and still have, because I can move quickly at short notice. I didn't have to worry about getting a group together, and money was never a problem. If somebody said to me, could you come to us like a day center, a school, and they said, but we haven't got a lot of money. We've heard about you. You've been referred to us, and I would say yes, because what happens is when you go, they do the marketing, the promoting. Somebody would always come to me at the end of the evening and give me a business card. So whenever I did one show, it promoted the other three shows. And this is what I try to explain to artists. Don't always look at the money. So the book was a vehicle as well, as much as the play, the poetry, and everything else. Everything is a vehicle. I use it in a way to challenge, but it's also a talking book as well. So a lot of people don't know this. So very
Yes.
inspirational.
So what you're saying is that as an artist, it's good to have different ways of
Different ways. Yeah,
communicating, of reaching
yeah,
out to different people so
that's right.
that you can get the message across
Yes.
instead
And
of
at
it
the
just
time
one
when
way.
this book was done, it was the 60th anniversary of Windrush. So it
Mm,
was, again, a very special time. Just
yeah.
as much as when I left drama college in 96, 2 years later, that was 1998, that was the 50th anniversary. So by the
Okay.
time the 50th anniversary of Windrush came around, I was already, as they say, seasoned artist with the one man play. People wanted something that was ready, proven, tried, and tested.
Yes.
And so therefore I got a lot of work at that time. So yes, 60th anniversary, the book 2008 when it was published was a special time.
Yeah, you are doing so well, Mr. Richard, because as a one-man band, it's not easy, but you kept going. You kept going. When we look at, all these other theater companies, like, you know, those in the city, Les Miserables or whatever they call, um, they're quite a big names. They
Big
have
name,
support.
their £1 million productions.
They have a lot of money. They have a
Yeah,
lot of people
yeah,
supporting them.
yeah, yeah.
And you can imagine, you one man band, you've been going for 25 years by yourself. That can only be by the grace of God.
Well, I give credit, as I
That
said
can only be by
earlier,
the grace of
to
God.
people, to a lot of people encourage me and tell me to continue the work.
Yes.
Or whenever I felt down, and you must imagine it's only natural. I'm a human being with
Yeah.
feelings and emotions. So
Yes.
it wasn't a
It wasn't
rosy.
a bed of roses, all
I
bed
said,
of
no,
roses.
there were good days and there were bad days. So,
Yes.
what I would say to that, there was always people there to encourage me because they believed
Yes.
in me and they thought that what I was doing was relevant. And people say to me,
Mm.
what I'm doing now is even more relevant than when I first started. You touched
Yes.
on Les Mesrel and those other plays. Les Mesrel was touring, it's 33 years. Les Mesrel.
Mm.
The Phantom of the Opera, 32 years. You've got The Lion King, Mamma Mia, 19 years.
19 years. You
You,
can
you've,
imagine.
you've got Thriller, 9 years. So, and I remember telling somebody where I got the inspiration, which was also something that helped to motivate me. I was walking through the West End coming
Mm.
back to Victoria to catch the coach home. And I
Yeah.
seen these plays. I used to see these plays in the West End, and I got
Yes.
the idea: could I do this from a community basis? Because without with £50 or 100, £500 or something like that, and that's
Yeah.
where the ideas come. I just wanted to experiment because I go back to drama college. We had the productions every term, and I noticed the
Okay.
productions was always getting less and less and less. And I remember saying to the overall tutor, Jeff Bullen, who was the overall coordinator of the course at the time, I said to him, why don't we take out these productions and tour it around, and
Yeah.
we as artists could bring money back in for the college? They say they don't do that. funding comes and it gets less and they have to get cheap. So I was always curious as to, would it be possible for me to put a production together that was reusable? And if you notice the character that I played, it wasn't by mistake or an accident. I deliberately chose to play an older man because I
Okay.
knew that I would grow into the age.
Yes.
So I
Yes,
was
you
prepared.
did. Hmm.
Oh dear. I remember young, I've got to tell you very quickly before you move on.
Yeah, thank you. That is so
I did a
wonderful.
play coming, and this woman said to me, I love your performance. This was maybe 20 years ago. I love your performance, but you was moving too quickly as a younger man. But I knew I had to slow down. But now I don't have to worry about slowing down. I'm that
No,
man now. So I've grown into
yes,
the character. Sorry,
you are.
sorry. Go
That
ahead.
is so awesome. Thank you. So I want also for us also to talk about there are four points that I got from the book, the trilogy. I wanted you to explain a little bit more about those 3 points, which I'm going to highlight to you because I know our audience would like to know a bit more. The one that is titled "I Spy Through the World's Eye,"
Okay.
and the one that says dramas/poetry workshop for adults and children, and then the spoken word reggae music. How does all this, what is the significance of all these different subjects in the
Okay.
life of people that you around us that you work with?
Okay, let me clarify just a few points there. The
Yeah.
production, Streets Paved with Gold, um, Return to the Caribbean, True to the First Generation, and I Spy Through the World's Eye are
Yeah.
all separate individual productions.
Production. Okay.
Okay. Obviously, the first three, Streets Paved with Gold, Return to the Caribbean, and True to the First Generation, is what I call the trilogy. So often people will
Okay.
say, "Oh, we've seen Streets Paved with Gold. They want to see Return to the Caribbean,
Yeah.
and then they want to see True to the First Generation when the
Yeah.
son comes back to England." So that's the trilogy. But not everybody's seen. The most popular one was Streets Paved with Gold. So I never really did them. I Spy Through the World's Eye was me experimenting with, if you like, contemporary theatre. Because often
Okay.
when I went to theatre, the theatres would say to me, we don't, because you're doing a one-man play and it's a historical play, we don't think it's going to put bums on seats,
Right.
it didn't make sense. Anyhow,
Exactly.
it didn't make sense. So I come up with something which I Spy is to do with the credit card. People use the credit, they live with the credit card. They're overdrawn in the bank. People are losing their jobs. We hear so much news on the TV about wars and all
Yes.
the things that are associated with politics. That is all to do with I Spy. And I did it through a character who's lost his job, lost his wife. Obviously, his marriage is broken, and he's an alcoholic. But he always spends the time in a casino. So I Spy for the World's Eye. The setting for that is in a casino. The music, a bottle of wine, and the table, and it just the music is like jazz piano. The sound
Yeah.
effect when you hear it, it's just the same sounds that you would hear in a casino or in a restaurant. So,
Yes.
and I'm kind of drunk and I'm doing this and I connect, it's all poetry and I interact with the audience in between the tracks. It's an hour long. So that
Yeah.
was wonderful. So for me, when you're talking about the educational side of things now,
Yeah.
for me, which I kind of like touched on a bit earlier, um, as I said, I was advised at drama college to bolt on this educational package. So as the years went by side with the plays, I noticed that the educational package grew. So whenever I was approached by a school a day center, a college, a university, special needs, all
Yeah.
different age groups, not just in the UK, but in the Caribbean at the universities, and in parts of Europe when I went to theaters for the schools.
Okay.
I had a lot of experience in, I had to design specific packages for them. Sometimes I would
Okay.
go to the schools and the school would say, I want you to have all 700 children today. And I have to work.
Okay.
And then sometimes they would give me half the school, or some schools would say they would choose 2 or 3 classes, or
Okay.
and I would design, get them to do productions within 2 hours. It could be a
Okay.
combination of drama or poetry. So I hope it makes sense to everybody who's listening.
Yes, that's what I was just also
Yeah,
trying to find
yeah,
out from you, that
yeah.
I know you've done a lot in the community as
Mm,
well,
mm,
internationally. I was just wanting to find out what exactly do you do when you go into schools,
yeah.
and that you're rightly explaining now that you work with different, different sets, which is
Different
more
sets in
explicit.
different ways. I tailor make and I design it. The one thing that I was conscious of, if you ask me, well, which one did you use more of? Was it drama? Was it the poetry? I would say poetry. Why? Because poetry, I found poetry is easier for people who are non artistic.
Yeah.
To do drama, it's easier for people who had some drama experience. You can't get it done in the time. But if you use poetry, if I say to somebody, I want you to choose 3 words, 3 individual words in less than 10 seconds that expresses your life, your hope, your dreams, your family,
Yeah.
they can do it. Most people can do it within
Which
10.
is the poetry side.
Yes,
Okay.
love, family, money. It could be
Money.
anything. 3 words, 10. And then I would say express each of those words
Which
in
is,
15 seconds each. Most people can do that. I like
yes.
love. I love my father. I love my mother. I love my family.
Yes.
I love money because I want to be rich.
I need to have a lot of money.
That's it. So, and then it's like a trick. They don't realize.
Yeah.
And then I would say, okay, you went from 10 seconds to 45 seconds. Now, I want you to say everything that you've said, but expanded it to 2 minutes or a minute and
Okay.
a half. But don't think about it. And what they don't realize what I'm doing is I'm getting people memorize what they're saying, but they
Okay.
don't memorize it in order. Because what I discovered as a child growing up, especially with dyslexia, is people are in this society where we're taught in a way that we're afraid to fail and we're afraid to make mistakes. So
Yeah.
my classes, I create a safe space that I encourage people to be
Sure.
imperfect and to
Mhm.
make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because if you learn to make mistakes and try again, then you'll overcome it. Does it make sense?
Because that will increase their self
Yeah.
confidence anyway.
And I was able to put these productions together without them writing anything down. They will
Wow.
memorize it, and then
Wow.
they reproduce it, and then they direct it. And the teachers it was like a party trick, because the teachers would say, there's no way you can come into a school, take a group of kids or take a whole school and produce a production in less than 2 hours. We can't do that in 6 months because
But you did that with them.
I did that. I do that
You did your magic, your Windrush
all the
magic.
time. Non-artistic, none. And when people go to my YouTube, they can find I've explained it in 3 beginners, intermediate, and higher level, exactly what I'm explaining to you. So you don't have to remember this. I've done
Yes.
it. It's there on the YouTube for people
Wow.
to find
It's quite
explaining it.
explanatory.
So I hope
Thank
that gives
you.
you some
Yes. I mean, I'm
creative
beginning to love poetry
educational
now.
value. Yeah, yeah.
I'm beginning to fall in love with poetry because I'm like, okay, it's easy.
Everybody's afraid when they have to get a pen and paper, they're mentally blocked. So I try to get people to do it without writing it down, because
Wow.
and then
Which
you
is
remember it naturally.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, thank you. So that is so wonderful. I believe our audience, people watching, whenever they'll be watching, they will be so blessed. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick short break,
Sure.
and then we'll listen to the other voice note that you've also recorded
Okay.
that people can also relate to. I'm so happy that we put this together so that people can be blessed. So thank you everyone so much for watching. This is one to one, an exclusive interview with my special guest, Victor Richards, aka Streets Paved with Gold. And he's here today to bless us with his work. And I believe that you will never remain the same by, listening to all that he has to bless us with. So we're going to go on a short break. By the time we come back, we will continue from where we stopped. So don't go away.
We put so much pressure on ourselves, trying to get everything to be perfect, trying to get everything to balance, trying to get everything to work together, not recognizing that it's none of those things that actually create fulfillment and happiness in life. As we get older, time, health, and wealth would all be taken away from us. But the one thing that can never be taken away from us is the impact we have on others, because it lives on through them. Our health is the foundation, how we can build our time and wealth. And with our time and wealth, there are two key principles. We become successful from what we get, but we become happy from what we give. And what we give includes our time, our wealth, and our energy. And when those things are used to make a positive difference in the lives of others, to help others to move forward, to make an impact, that legacy can never be taken away. As the great poetess Maya Angelou once said, people would forget what you said, people would forget what you did, but they would never forget how you made them feel.
Wow.
So that was so wonderful. It's so
Wow.
it's so enjoyable. It's
Wow.
so cool. It's
You-
so surreal.
I'm
Yes.
telling you, that was an experience. That was an
Yes.
experiment.
It
I
is.
have to tell. Let me just quickly share with you and your
Yeah, share a little bit about
that
that.
that
Yeah.
that poem wasn't written by me. It was written by a lovely gentleman. I believe he's in the States. His name is Jay Shetty. They call
Jay, okay.
Jay Shetty. J A
Oh, Jay Shetty, yeah.
Shetty. And I heard
I've heard about it.
he did the poem. I seen it on YouTube one day. I listened to it, and I loved it instantly. And I thought, oh, I
Yes.
can do something with this. I contacted him. I say him, his organization, and asked permission if
Okay.
I could have the right to do this poem. And they responded to me very quickly within
Wow.
days, and they said, yes, you can, as long
Okay.
as you don't change the words.
Okay.
And I honored that. And why I wanted to do it is because again, I go back to this 25-year journey that I've been on, which is a lifetime, and we're all,
Yes.
not just me, you, and all of us are on the journey, telling our stories. And because I'm, as you said in your introduction, I'm perfectly placed to
Yes.
observe, because this is, I've chosen to live this type of life. I'm aware of the times are changing. Now we're in the times where people are passing on who we've loved and cared for, grown up with. family, friends, loved ones, and as time goes by, I'm not going to try to unpack it because people's listen to, or they will listen to this and
Yeah.
understand exactly why I chose this, because we all understand this, but if we don't really practice love
Yeah.
and care and appreciation and forgiveness, um, you get to a point in life when you look back, you would think, what was it all for?
Yeah.
So we don't really want to have too many regrets or any regrets, really. So give as much as you can. And when somebody is helping you, show that appreciation,
Yeah.
because what goes around comes around.
Comes around.
And there's so much to unpack in that poem, which there isn't the time, but it's there. Thanks to you and all your time and your efforts that you
Thank you.
put together. To me, you are also helping Nigeria. So I thank you.
Thank you.
You know, it's
Thank you as well. It's really blessed me, honestly, and I believe that it's going to bless
yeah.
people out there. It's something that you want to listen to it over and over again. You don't
And
get
you
fed
know
up.
that Amazing Grace is one of the most popular uh,
Yes,
songs that people would listen to in church.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I believe all our people are being blessed out there.
Mm,
This is so important for us to key into these points that you've mentioned here.
yeah.
Our
Time is
health.
short. Time is
Life
short.
is too short. Our health, our time,
Yeah.
our wealth as well. Like you
Yeah.
said, rightly said, the thing is that people will always remember how you make them feel.
Yes.
They will forget all the things that you've done, you've given them, and about the way, well, that one thing they
Yes.
will never forget. It's like you never forget how tasty your mother's soup is. you know you never forget that. You
True.
never
True.
forget, because maybe by the time you come back, she's cooked for you,
Mm,
she's giving you that lovely, so you can never forget the good deeds that people have done
yeah.
for you. But
Yes.
the bad ones, you remember them on time.
Yes. That's
And
right.
yeah, you remember them on time.
That's right.
God will help us all to live
You're with
according
me.
to.
You're with me. You understand me. Yes.
Yes, amen. I do.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. God bless you for coming to share with us. So let's get into the final questions that we have lined up for you today. So I know that the final one, or almost the final one, the one that says straight paved with gold. I know you've been into this for a long time, and it's taking you to so many places.
Mm,
Gambia, Japan, you know, you've been to so many places. I want you to tell us, explain to us, out of these places that you've been to, these countries internationally, which one did you actually feel that, okay, what I'm doing, this that I'm doing, did not go in vain? Which of these countries made you actually feel that, you know what, I've given this, and I believe that they will never forget. They'll feel the experience,
yeah.
and they will, what really touched you in those moments, in those times, in those trips that you've made all these years,
Yeah.
preaching and giving back, streets paved with gold, Windrush.
Wow. Tina, that's a tough one, To be honest with you, everywhere I went was good. Everywhere I went was good, Everywhere was
Okay.
different. It was
Yeah.
good. So I wouldn't say that one place was better than the other. They
Okay.
were all wonderful places. I was always treated with respect and regarded and
Okay.
loved and cared for. But if you to choose one, as you say,
Yeah.
I would say Japan.
Okay.
1997, just when I left drama college, I had an invitation to go there. Why
Okay.
Japan?
Yeah.
Because it was, I had fear because of the language barrier,
Okay. Yeah.
culture barriers. Uh,
Okay.
that isn't to say it's nothing to do with communication or organization. Everything was perfect. Um, Everything was set up fine. What I what would always stay with me is, when you take something that is almost alien, it's alien, and I'm thinking, how would they understand my story, this
Yeah.
story, Streets Paved with Gold, and how would they relate to it, and how would that
Yes.
discussion. And what I discovered was amazing. This is when, again, when you travel out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
What I experienced was people related to the story, and they were emotional, and
Okay.
they understood. And I was curious as to why. It was because they too had experienced migration. So
Okay.
we forget it wasn't just us. Obviously, ours was one of the largest migrations of all time in history. We know, but
Yeah.
what I experienced in going to Japan, as in anywhere else, that they also had migration to look for work at different points of history.
Yeah.
They identify with the character's loss and feeling of missing home and missing family. So, in saying that, what I experienced and realized by taking the play to Asia is that I really had something that was international. I realized that migration is happening all over the world all the time.
Yes.
And I knew I had something that was really, really special. Um,
Okay.
and to see the feedback and the questions, which would be very different from a Caribbean or an African.
Mm.
But the fact is, they identified. It's just like when we say music is universal in any language. Well,
Yeah.
so is drama, and so is poetry.
Mm.
You don't need to. They don't need to understand. They can use
Yes.
feelings and emotions. So I hope that answers your question. It was powerful.
Mm.
It
Wow. That is awesome. Honestly, it's so mind blowing. Yes, I know Japan. Yes. And by the way, are you able to speak the language now?
a little bit, not as much as I should, um,
Okay.
because I've been there about four times four, five, six, seven times, I think, in the last uh, over the last 25 years. But
Okay.
I just want to say something which I think is very important for you and your audience to also um, to note, which I probably could have mentioned earlier in our questions, is there is a common denominator in the work, which I discovered later on in my career when I met a lovely lady by the name of Lynette Hudson, who is an entrepreneur. She organizes special events for professional people like ourselves to come, and she guides, and particularly people who've been in a career for 30 years, 40 years, and they want to transfer their skills, builds confidence. I was having a talk with her one day. She asked me the question, who are you and what do you do? I said, I'm an actor, I'm a poet, I'm a writer, and she kept asking me the question again. Every time I keep trying to answer it in a better way. And eventually she said to me, you're a storyteller.
Okay.
Not that I didn't know that, but she
Yeah.
opened it up even more to make me understand. And there's a reason why I was talking to her at that time,
That
which
time.
was 15 years ago, because I was about to do a BBC radio interview, and I was concerned because it was an hour long, which is very unusual for BBC, and it was with one of the top presenters at the time in Leicester. And
Yes.
I wanted to prepare, and she advised me, you are a storyteller. So all my work, my Fashion to the Ages, the play, the poetry, the spoken word, the, the drama, and the film, everything is story. And so, therefore, all these different things that you're talking about and that you're unpacking, the poetry, the drama, the workshops, but basically, it's all story. And when you go into a situation during a radio interview, what they do is they look at the resume, in much in the same way that you have, and they try to unpack it. Some of them don't take the time to really unpack it properly, and they try to they'll use a kind of a expression as, oh, you, it seems that you're um, um, uh, a jack of all trades,
Yeah.
master of
I
nothing.
sort of know.
Right. So what she said to me, if that is happening, you go back to telling them you're a storyteller.
Storyteller.
And I did exactly what she told me to do, Lola Hudson,
Mm.
wonderful lady.
Yeah.
And basically, by the end of the hour program, it turned out the gentleman in question agreed with me. And he said something like, if I remember, I think you're right, you know, Victor, because I remember as a child, my mother, my father telling me stories. And that's
Yes.
how we learn. We all learn
Yes.
from our parents.
True
And
stories.
it's true stories.
Amen.
Yeah,
That is so awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is wonderful. So, let us go into a little bit about this journey of the Windrush.
sure.
Because some people might want to know what exactly is Windrush and how did it start and why is it also celebrated today? And I believe Windrush is now about 70. They've celebrated 70th anniversary. So would you like to touch a little bit more on that and also your own 25 years journey as well altogether?
Right. I think you're probably packing two or three or four questions in one. If you realize
Okay,
what you were doing, so you're making it more difficult than what it really
just answer one.
is.
Okay,
I'll
okay.
try.
Let's say for example, just tell us a bit more about what is the Windrush generation about,
Okay.
and why is it celebrated as well? Because I know you
Okay.
guys, had a 70th, year
Yeah.
celebration
Well,
recently.
well, you know that we had the Windrush scandal in the government 2018,
Yeah, 2018.
and
That was the 70th year, right?
yes, as it took, and then so what they've done is the government decided that they want to, as a token gesture, I suppose, okay, we'll celebrate Windrush, making a national day
Yeah.
on the 22nd of June every single year.
Mm.
Um, so, okay, that's good in one sense, but it doesn't really solve the problem, does it? You know, but still, we're happy. Windrush in itself, obviously, we know after the Second World War, Britain was broken. You they needed help. They
Mm.
needed to be rebuilt. So they reach out to what was then their colonies, as it was known then,
Yeah.
Kamanas. And it was an opportunity for those of us to come to help to rebuild Britain. And obviously,
Britain.
we knew that it was a labor force. We
Yeah.
knew what jobs they were going to have. But we also must remember there was also skilled, talented, very clever, very qualified people who came over, not just from the Caribbean, from Africa as well,
Mm.
to work, and they couldn't get the job, so they ended up having to take something. So Windrush overall is that was one of the biggest migrations. 1948 landed at Tilbury Docks, June 22nd, but actually the boat came in a couple of days before with all the
Yeah.
politics with Enoch Powell going on because they didn't want them to come off the boat, as we know. But I think you have to really understand that um, with this migration at that time, which was massive, Obviously, the Windrush was famous, but there's several other boats that came afterwards. So
Yeah.
the point I'm trying to get to is when people around the world, whether they were in India, Africa, and or any other part of the world,
Yes.
see this happening, I believe the Windrush triggered more people to come over that 30-year period up until the mid 70s to
Yeah.
migrate, creating what we now have, which is a multicultural society,
Society.
which is not just the Windrush. We have to realize now the Windrush community is
We have word rush.
we're global now, where
Global rush.
we have offspring from the Windrush generation that are living all over the world
All
and
over the world.
doing
Yeah.
very well. So it's a big community.
It's
So
a
when
big
we
community.
started with the word Windrush, and when I started 25 years ago, that word Windrush, nobody took much notice of me or what I
Yeah.
was doing.
Yes.
Now the word Windrush is an international word. I can go anywhere now in the
Yes.
world and just say Windrush. They may not understand everything about it, but they get it.
Yes.
It's growing. So I haven't wasted my time.
No, you haven't. You key in at the right time
Yeah.
and the right
Because
place.
there were people at the time who said, and I want to stay positive here, for your wonderful program. People said to me, why are you doing this? Why?
Definitely.
Why don't you do something? It's old, and they never got it. And these were professional people around me, and
That's why.
it took something really, something, I don't know, for me to keep going, because I
Yes.
knew, when somebody seems should have more intelligence, should be smarter than you, but I just know what they were saying was wrong,
Definitely. You
and only
see,
time would tell.
definitely, which is telling now.
Yes.
You are the only one doing this. I mean, that I can say a one
Oh,
man band.
Tina, I'm not. I'm
No,
not.
no, no. That I
No,
have noticed, like the way you're going on about it, like one man band. You're everywhere. You're international. You're putting so much into it. That's what I'm saying. That
yes,
people
yes.
would might not
But,
understand because you
but
had that
that's
vision.
true,
God
Tina.
gave
But
you that
always,
vision, and
always
then you
remember,
start to work on it.
it's true. But I always give thanks, because there were so many organizations over the years that are no longer with us because they lost their funding.
Yes.
Now, if these organizations didn't give me the break, didn't give me the platform, I
Yeah.
could never develop. Um,
Yes.
so many people, um, like Patrick Vernon, who started the campaign
Yeah.
in Parliament. All these people I'm connected with. So to me, I see myself as a link in the chain, and with all their efforts and the things that they're doing from the political
Mm.
side, from sorting out people's retributions and stuff, and helping them to come back in the country. All the problems that they're having, there's a lot of us. Whereas before it was like a desert. So I'm happy to be a part of that community,
Amen.
people who are doing things. So I always, yes, I am a one man band, as you say, but I
One
reckon
man band in a million.
in a rhythm. But to me, I'm not.
Yeah.
There are many people in this group of Windrush fraternity, who I aspire to and applaud, because their good work, and you have to remember, in the early years, for those who campaigned on the political side, they're all, well, standing on all of their shoulders now. So
Yeah.
I give thanks. I give thanks.
Thank you. That is so wonderful. So I'm just going to ask you the final question, and then we can go. This final question, because when I was doing my research, I also found on one government website, which they was saying about the numbers of the migrant that came through the ship that time.
Yes.
I got two different numbers. I got one government website saying 492 migrants. And then I saw another one saying 1,027 migrants. So which one exactly is correct? Do you know?
I believe I do, as in most people do now. At the time when I started, the number that we've seen this official document of 492 passengers, and that's how I based my book and everything on. But over the years, the information has come out.
Right.
So, which wasn't available at the time, to be fair,
Okay.
for whatever reason. But yes, the number is 1,027.
Okay. So that's good. It's good to know. Thank you so much. I wanted to get that clarification for our viewers as well.
I just hope that in the future that we don't get another number.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, 1,027 and 900 and something. I'm like, that's not, something has to be,
but
something has to give.
When I was doing TV work, background work in years ago in London, I was working with a gentleman who admitted to me at the time, we were just sitting around waiting to be called on set, that he came over on the Windrush and he was a stowaway. And if you look at the information, there were two people who were stowaway. And he told me a wonderful story of being on the Windrush. He said it took nearly 3 weeks. And he said they had parties every night. It was fun. They gave us so much food and drink. He couldn't believe it. These people were so nice to them. He met his wife to be on that ship because, there were so many strangers and they had to, I suppose they lived together for 3 weeks. But when he got off the ship and came into London, he realized why they were being so nice to him. Are you with me? So what I'm trying to say is they when they're bringing these people over, they butter them up. They want them to come to work, but not knowing what was in store for them here. So it was interesting. I always remember him. I could see his face now, listening to his story. And that's one of the wonderful thing about my journey. And I've met many people who's met some of these Windrush survivors. I don't think there's any left now, but I was lucky to meet one or two of them. And he was one of those that was stored away. So yes, I hope that this program reaches out and people get to hear these stories and obviously find more information. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. So God bless you. So let's listen to this other voice note, the final one for tonight, and then we'll come back and just round up. Thank you.
We fought a war to protect here. We ended up fighting a war to live here. We light up the skies of Nazi Germany. 21 successful missions until we were shot down. 2 black men in occupied Holland. Trouble.
You might make a better granddad than you did a father.
Mum, what am I going to do with that grumpy old man?
It's a chance for you to get to know him.
Mum, how many times do I have to tell you? He won't answer the door. He just won't.
Mabel, I wish you could meet her. Our granddaughter.
Who's that?
That's your grandmother, Mabel.
You're going to be looking over your shoulder all of your time in England. Why did you do it, Augustus?
Look, Christina, I'm so pleased that you and Granddad are getting on so well. But there's something you really must know.
What's that, Mum? Bye.
Christina! What's this?
When the war was over, a letter of introduction to work in London gave me a new lease of life. After surviving that war, I stopped being scared of anything.
Go away, Tommy. We don't have anything more to talk about.
I need money, and I need it now.
Shut up. You made a life out of this too?
Grandad, is this true? I don't even know you anymore.
It's not that I don't love you.
Wow, that is awesome. So, can you explain a little bit more, about this trailer to us? Because I really love when the area where it says, "I want that money. I want it now."
Well, yeah, that's somebody trying to bribe me for money. That wasn't me.
Their voice, I just love the voice. The
Yeah,
way she said
I
it.
think first of all, for our viewers, let's explain that this is the soundtrack of the movie trailer for the
Yeah.
play Streets Paved with Gold, being released this year, the feature film, which has been transformed from the play into a feature film. So to answer your question, I think obviously it's a milestone for me. It's a big achievement, and I'm conscious of your time, so I'm not going to label too long. But just to say that it's a wonderful cast, a wonderful crew. I enjoyed the process. It's very challenging. It's one of the toughest projects I've ever done in my life.
Okay.
We're aiming obviously very high for high quality resolution. If they've seen the trailer, which they can go to the YouTube and they can see the visuals for themselves. For me, the only thing I would say, and give you a chance if there's any question you want to ask, is because people tend to ask the question, what is the difference between the play and the film?
Yeah.
Obviously in theatre it's very direct to the audience, but when you put it on a big screen, there's so much that you have to unpack. So it's a one-man play, but with the film, all the characters that I talk about come to life. My wife, so that's the first thing. The other thing, you had to do a lot more with the story. So it starts off in the Second World War. And there's lots of twists and turns. It's like a thriller in a way. There's a lot more information I can pack in, but the essential thing that is not in the play but is in the film, we've introduced my granddaughter, which you hear the young lady speaking, and I wanted to make sure that the film kept what I've had for the 25 years. Because with the play, I was able to take the play into churches.
Okay, so was that your granddaughter?
Yeah. So when you do the film, that's right, my granddaughter. So I want to, so essentially, it'd be easy if I said the play was always been a family play.
Yes, exactly.
Families come and see the play, and I want families to come and see the film. It's a PG. I never swear. I never say anything offensive. About anybody. So we keep that respect to people. You can tell the story without being offensive. So the relationship throughout the film is between the granddaughter and myself, in the sense that the character Augustus Cleveland Johnson is that she's been astray for 10 years. He hasn't seen her because he doesn't get on with his daughter, and he's trying to get this relationship back that he's lost through his daughter because of a breakdown. And this is common amongst us all.
Yes.
In terms of our relationship. So
it's a real life situation, real life journey.
Yeah. And I think as an elder, um, elders, majority of them want to have peace. They want the family to, once they've passed on, once they passed on their legacy, their home,
Yes.
they
Which
want
is a
they
good
hope
thing.
that the
Yes.
family stay together. But quite often, and I'll finish on this point, quite often once they passed on, the families break down. So you
Yes.
no longer have the matriarch in the family or the head of the family for some reason. And I see this is common. So every parent or grandparent wants to make sure that when they're no longer there, there is
Yeah.
somebody who's going to be the head of the family, keep the
Yes.
family together. This is very much the film. I'm not
Very.
giving away the story or anything,
Yes.
but it's a
Thank you.
wonderful journey so far. I was in London yesterday, in actual fact, with the director Solomon Garcia, a wonderful guy who, as I mentioned, Melanie Shabazz had introduced me to a few years before, who recently passed away a year ago. I, I, when we talk about journeys, Tina, I'm mindful that nothing happens by accident. Everything happens for a reason. I don't know
For a
whether you
reason.
believe this, and this has been my journey with the film. And as I say, and I'll finish by saying, it's a wonderful cast, wonderful crew. I give thanks to all the people who's participated, supported the film, the producers of the film, the director of the film, and the wonderful cast and crew. And I hope that soon the general public will get the opportunity to see the film. It's going to be for big screen as well, but
Okay, that would be
my
good.
hope is that I will bring this to the community as well. We're in
Amen.
space, so
Yeah.
I would leave it there.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. God bless you. So, I believe our viewers are blessed people. When they watch this program, they will get more information,
Yeah,
that will bless them. You have actually hit a lot of nails on the head.
I hope.
So, I'm so excited that you, took this opportunity to come here to enlighten us a little bit more about what you're doing right now, how it's going for you, how, one man band is turning into so many, internationally, it's gone international, and you're just going. You just pray that God will continue to sustain you and help you,
Thank you.
lead you in the right direction at the right time to meet the right people that
Thank
will also support what you're doing continuously,
you.
and you will not be tired. You will continue to be strengthened in this work.
You've been so inspiring. I've
Amen.
really enjoyed doing this program with you today.
Amen. Thank you
I
so
hope one
much.
day we get to bring the film to Kent.
Amen. Very soon, very soon,
Yeah,
very soon.
yeah.
So, I just want you to give us your final word and also to let people know how they can connect with you. I've got some of your social media handles here that I'm going to put here. But if you want to like say anything about it and just explain a little bit more, that would be great. But otherwise, they're all on the screen here too. For people to
Yeah, if people actually want to see the film trailer, then they will go to swpmovie.com. That's a website for the movie. So they'll find that. If people want to contact me, I'm sure they'll contact me through you. Maybe it's to do with
Yeah. So
planning.
what I've done here for you, Mr. Victor, is I've put all your social media handle on the
Yeah,
screen, so
yes.
people can always connect with you that way. Let me just see if I can increase the number. No, it goes smaller. Sorry.
Okay,
I was
no,
trying to, okay. Yeah, but it's there for people if they need to
yeah,
contact you, they
that's
can
all.
just
I don't
go
really.
there.
I just hope that they
And
enjoy it and they find it useful.
yeah, they
I think
enjoy them.
what we want people to do is share this. So
Okay. Amen.
share the link.
Yeah, share the video. Yeah,
That's what we want, really.
that's fine. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. We said we're gonna do 20, 40 minutes, but you know, we're enjoying them. They talk so much that we've gone overboard. But it's okay because it's something that it's important, that
Yeah.
is going to bless people. You want them to take time to enjoy the whole process as well,
Yes.
and to understand what it's all about. Because once you get an understanding of what it's all about, you're able to flow in it, and that's I believe that we've been able to unpack those tonight for people
Oh,
to
you've done a
listen.
fantastic job. You've done a
Thank you.
fantastic job in putting this whole program together. So thank you.
Thank
Talking
you.
about
Thank you so much. I want to thank all my viewers as well, those that are watching and those that have been watching this recorded version later on. It's going to be ready to go around as soon as we finish this recording. It's already live. Anyway, we are live already, but if to get the link to send to other people, I'm going to get the link ready for you so you can also share the link with other people to watch. And also my final word here is that we do this show to encourage people in the community, all over the world, wherever you are. If you like to come on the show, you can connect with us here. This is my own Facebook and my website as well. So if you'd like to be a guest on the show, just like Mr. Victor Richard, you can reach out to me on this information below. The email is there, the website is there as well for us to invite you to the show. And also, we do like people supporting this mission as well. We don't charge you to come on the show, but if you like what we've done, you can also bless us. That's what we ask for because we all need support here and there.
Amen.
So
We do.
that's that's
Do.
what that's what we do here.
Yeah.
So, and on that note, I'd just like to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this program tonight. Most especially my special guest, Mr. Victor Richards, that come all the way, to be here tonight, to just bless, to share, and to just let us know that we can do what we put our minds to do,
Yeah.
that one man can do what 100 people can do. And
Okay.
that's exactly what you're doing today. So keep going. We
Okay.
love you. We pray that God will sustain you mightily in Jesus'
If
name.
there's one word I would like to say in a sentence is that anybody who has an interest, who think they may want to do a one man or one woman play or do poetry, I would like to know how. Then maybe they may want to talk to me and I can advise them. Or they're already started, but they're not sure where they're going with it or what to do. Fine, I will be too happy to help and advise.
Wow, that is interesting. That is so good. I'm interested as well to know more actually, because the way you explained poetry a while ago, it just sounds so easy.
Mm,
So I
mm,
believe it's something that we can all look into.
yeah,
Sometimes when you're not in the arts, when you're not into arts, you think it's very difficult
yes.
until somebody explains it to you on your own way that you're like, okay, this is actually easy. I can try. I can
Yes.
try to do
It's
this.
true. This is
Yeah.
the reason why I did this is because I've been through a lot of the other practitioners, and I found some of them, even though they were good, it was complicated because it was academic. So it made me want to, just as I was as a choreographer all those years ago, simplify it. Because I know there's a lot of people who can't express in the normal way, so to speak. So yes, I've made it simple.
Okay. Thank you so much. God
Thank you.
bless you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone, so much for joining us tonight. And then I will just play this last one and then we'll bring the show to a close. So enjoy this one, everyone, and then we'll have a good time. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Victor Richard. God bless you. Thank you to all my viewers as well. My name is Tina Onye. Thank you, and I'll see you on my next video, on my next interview. I'm waiting for my next guest very soon to come on and just share with us. And also, I wanted to also use this opportunity to give a shout out to people that were born in July that were celebrating their birthdays. Normally, I do the birthday show, every end of the month. But this time around, I am just going to be giving them a shout out. So I've got their names here. I'm just going to highlight their names here and then just to congratulate them on their special birthday celebration. So I just keep them here. So these are all the people that I'm giving a shout out to that have their birthdays this month. So that's Daddy I know, Tola Samuel, Favor Onabanjo, Kemi Ladide, and Mr. and Mrs. Emmanuel. This is their 1 year anniversary. So I want to just salute everyone that have celebrated their birthday this month. God bless you and keep you. So that will bring us to the end of the show. Thank you so much, Mr. Richard. God bless you and have a good time. Thank you. Bye, everyone. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye. See you soon.